Welcome to Connecting to Spirit with Stacey, a weekly journey into the spiritual world with evidential medium Stacey Niedentohl. With nearly 10 years of experience offering transformative private, group, and platform readings, Stacey is also a passionate mentor, guiding students for over 5 years to unlock their intuitive gifts. She is the author of 2 impactful books, My Head Knows, But My Heart Still Hurts, a 30-day grief recovery journal, and My Crystal Addiction Diary, an exploration of crystal and stone energy for healing. So please welcome the host of Connecting to Spirit, Stacey Niedentohl.
Hi, good evening. How is everyone doing tonight? Evidential medium Stacey Niedenthal. This is Connecting to Spirit with Stacey. We are on the Bold Brave Media platform, and I'm so excited that you're here. If this is the first time you've been on, welcome. It is a new platform, it is a new show for me, and I'm so excited to delve into some different things on the spiritual realm, the mediumship area, and just, have the conversation with you that maybe you don't always have these conversations with other people. So we've talked, along the way about who I am and how to choose a medium and things like that. And tonight I thought I would do something special. So as a medium, we have different tools, different modalities that we use. And angel, oracle, tarot cards are some of the tools that we use. So tonight I thought I would do a reading for just kind of a random reading. I put the intention out to my guides to be able to fill the hearts for someone who is needing some guidance with something that's troubling them. So I know it's kind of a generic read. If I was reading specifically for you, it would be a totally different thing. But I found that when I do generic reads, it touches the hearts of many people. And things will resonate with you or pop into your head and go, oh, I was thinking about that the other day. And I'm going to explain each card, and then I'm going to kind of talk to you about what the whole cards mean altogether, what the message behind it is. So the deck that I'm using is the Shaman Healing deck. And when I do pulls like this, whether it's on my social media, Connecting to Spirit with Stacey, or I do a random pull for a collection of people, that's usually the deck that I go to. And when I do that, it's because energy is all connection, and we all fear something. So when I look at healing, this deck in particular shows an eye-opening path that the things that are standing in your way and how to get around them. Okay. So I've pulled 4 cards. Sometimes I pull 3, sometimes I pull 2, sometimes it's just 1. And I pulled 3 and I thought, I need a 4th one. So the cards that I pulled, the first one is struggle. And I'm going to show each of them to you, and then we'll talk about them. Abundance, feminine energy, and then honoring your energy. And if you're not on YouTube and you're just hearing this, you're not actually seeing it. Like I said, this is the Shaman Healing. The first card was struggle, and then abundance, feminine energy, and then honoring your energy. So immediately when I pulled these cards, when I had them in front of me, certain things started coming into my mind, things to question first. So before I talk about what the cards actually mean, I want you to think to yourself, do I have issues with self-confidence? Do I have too many things on my to-do list that I've kind of lost track of what's important? Do I feel overwhelmed and exhausted to the point of losing your path, and what's important, what you're driving towards. We all have passions in our life, and we all want to accomplish certain things, but sometimes things get in our way and they tend to stop us. So before I even like consult my guides and angels, which I've already done before this, um, the thing that comes to mind is struggle and energy and abundance. And abundance is how you feel, the value you put on yourself. So I want to take a deeper look at the cards and how they come into play. So the first card, I'm going to see if I can get it up here without glare. So the first card is struggle. And I don't know how well you can see the card, but you see that the fish is not in the water. Here's the fish. Whoops. Here's the fish. Here's the water. And beneath the water, it seems to be some flowers. And then there's brightness and light. But where he's swimming is above the water and it seems to be dark. So what this is showing me, you've all heard the saying of a fish out of water. And he's swimming uphill. So you see the fish swimming uphill. You see him above, or her, above the water. So not only is he gasping for air and feeling exhausted and feeling like he's at this never ending cycle of trying to go up above, I'm in the darkness. So moving about is difficult. They're missing the main point. If I just put my head back in the water, I could breathe a little better. My gills would work. I would be going into the light, right? Even though you're going uphill, still a difficult thing to do. But when we get overwhelmed with certain things, when we struggle with certain things, we lose our vision of sometimes the most obvious thing. You stand still. There's no victory in sight. So when you think about struggle, it's all a part of life. There's all certain different types of struggles. The world brings you struggles, but sometimes we bring the struggles onto ourselves. Wouldn't you think that this fish has brought part of the struggle onto itself because it's above the water? It's missing the point of getting into the water. The fish would be struggling upstream, like I said, but the water would help. And there would be, granted, there would be a current, but the stress would be less. Examining the card, when we talk about the light, when we talk about the darkness, when you feel like you're in a standstill, all of a sudden you feel like you're alone, you're in the darkness, there's a struggle, I don't know what to do, I'm in neutral, I can't see the light. It's not that I'm really dark, but I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. That light seems so far away. So what this card is showing you that even though there's struggles, there's lessons in the struggles. And it's confirming, right, back in a very brief way to invite your intuition in to make adjustments that you need to accomplish what you need to accomplish. So is there something that's staring you in the face that you've kind of lost, like you're almost have tunnel vision and you can't see how to get out of this tunnel? There's this struggle. It's taking a step back, looking at what is obvious. Fish needs to go in the water. Okay? Even though he's upstream, he needs to get back in the water. What's the obvious? What's the first thing you could do? Let's say you're struggling at work, right? Why are you struggling at work? Well, there's a coworker that I'm having an issue with. Why are you having an issue with the coworker? Well, the coworker always seems to get ahead. Why is the coworker? It's asking why. It's peeling things back until you come to the root of it. Well, they get a lot more done because they're here They clock in 15 minutes before. They don't take smoke breaks, or, they're laser focused, where I'm kind of all over the place. Well, what can I do to get that back? And then it's making a plan so that there isn't this huge struggle. All right. So while we're looking at the struggle, the second card is abundance. There we go. Abundance. So it flows right from struggle to abundance. So are you struggling with abundance? That's how the cards lay out. You're struggling with abundance. Abundance is not just financial. It's also the value that you put on yourself. Abundance can be material possessions. It could be friendships. It could be health. It could be emotionally, your emotional stability, etc. So when you zone in on one thing that gives you value, then you've zoned out on other opportunities that are around. So think about what makes you feel abundant, the blessings that are in your life, the things that you're grateful for. And when you start to notice the small things, that's when the larger things will come in. Watch for those blessings. Ask for those blessings. I want you to have a reminder, because of this, that what you need, the universe will supply to you. But you have to invite it in. And we all have free will. So sometimes we screw it up. But if we learn the lesson of not to screw it up again, or learn the lesson to move forward, then we find those blessings and that abundance. So when abundance comes up, it's tapping on your shoulder. Your guides, your angels are tapping on your shoulder and saying you're only focusing on the bad stuff. Let's flip it around and focus our energy on grace and on thankfulness. You may be stuck right now, but you won't be stuck tomorrow, because we're going to make a plan, right? We're going to make a plan with this. We're struggling, but we're going to make this plan. And when you make the plan and you focus on it, all of a sudden, you're freeing your energy. You find grace, you find thankfulness, and you put this in your everyday practice. Now, depression is a very difficult thing. And sometimes we lose our self-confidence. We lose how we feel about ourselves because of a certain situation. So it is zoning in on what the situation is, asking for help, finding help, and walking through it. I've always been that, let's look for the positive. Let's motivate. There's always light, but you can't walk through to the light until you figure out what turned the light off. So you're rolling back the things that you're struggling with. Just like I was saying a minute ago about you're struggling with work. Well, why are you struggling with work? Because of this. So if you are dealing with depression and anxiety, and please know, I am not a counselor. I'm not a professional doctor or anything like that. I'm talking to you from my experience. Dealt with anxiety and depression. I had to find the root of what started the depression, face it, and walk through it. Yes, by God, it was a struggle. I struggled with it for many, many years. But I started to find my abundance. I started to not zone in on one particular thing that made me feel this was my worth. I needed to say, I was there, but I'm no longer there. I have grown from there. I have forgiven myself. Maybe I've forgiven the situation, and I've released it. I can't be stuck in that struggle where I don't find value in myself or in the world around me. So just out of those first two cards that I pulled, struggle and abundance, has it resonated with you? I would love to hear that, how it's, pop some bubbles in your head where you're like, oh my gosh, that makes sense to me. And we're going to talk about the other two cards when we get back from this short break. And then we're going to talk about how all the cards come together. So, like, subscribe, share this video with others. We're on the Bold Brave Media, and we're live, streaming live on YouTube and on iHeartRadio. But we need to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. So I'll see you in a few minutes.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays 10 a.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network, and tune in radio as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com.
Hey, welcome back. This is your connection to spirit, Stacey Niedentohl, evidential medium. This is Bold Brave Media, and we've been talking about angel and oracle cards. And I actually did a random poll to ask my guides, ask the angels to give me information for those who are watching, a little bit of a nudge. And we've already talked about two of the cards. One was struggle and one was abundance. And if you're just now tuning in, you can always watch the replay on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. I would love to hear what your thoughts are about the show. But we were going to move on to the third card. And the third card is feminine energy. So if you don't know too much about masculine and feminine energy, whether you're a male or a female, there needs to be a balance in your energy of the masculine and of the feminine. So masculine energy is basically, it's portrayed as the sun, power, light, strength, where feminine energy is the dark. So it's the moon, right? It's that rolling with the tides. It's allowing yourself to be quiet before the storm. And the moon affects so many different things that the feminine energy allows itself to find quiet, even if there's chaos. It allows you to take the yin and the yang of the light and the dark, the power and the soft, the rolling of the tides to create balance. So if there's too much feminine energy or too much masculine energy within your psyche, all of a sudden you feel a little bit unbalanced. You ever have that friend that's just absolutely bouncing off the walls all the time, always up and just bouncing, always has solutions, and you reach shiny object and this and this and this. That's that light, that power, the one that takes control. lots of masculine energy. Someone who is very soft-spoken, can navigate through things, but can be very emotional. And when I mean emotional, just open to loving others and doing for others almost to a fault. That's too much feminine energy. So we have to find a balance between the two. And the thing with feminine energy is it requires a lot of trust and a lack of fear. So trust over fear. Are you afraid of things? We're all afraid of something. But do you trust yourself to know that no matter what happens, you will figure out? It's allowing yourself to become friends with yourself. And it's important that that person that's deep within you, like they're waiting to be acknowledged and to be loved. And it seems odd to say that about yourself, but I just want you to think for a minute. How do you describe yourself? Do you go, oh my God, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I did that. Oh, I made another mistake. Well, what's going to be next? What am I going to screw up again? You're not showing love to yourself. If you say, oof, messed that up, but fixed it, okay? Showing yourself compassion, recognizing the mistakes that you've made, but also how far you've come. So it's bringing that feminine energy in and acknowledging being a friend to yourself, showing love and compassion to yourself, not always talking in a negative way about you or pushing yourself to the limit of what you can and can't do, and then think, I'm just going to screw it up anyway. It's changing the way you think. Have you ever said, oh, I hope that one day this happens, and I hope, but it probably won't. You've stopped yourself before you've even started. Instead, say, one day I'm going to do whatever that is. One day I'm going to take a trip to Jamaica and start visualizing you on an airplane safely flying to Jamaica, being on the island. Visualize it, make it happen instead of saying, but it'll never happen. I'll never have enough. So what we need to do is you're struggling is what the cards are saying with how you feel about yourself because maybe you don't trust your own intuition. Maybe you don't trust your own gut reactions because you've made some mistakes in the past that you can't get over or someone holds them to you. So I thought that it was interesting that when I pulled these cards, not only did I pull feminine energy, but the fourth card that I had was honor your energy. So we're all made up of energy. And we all have this different rhythm within our body that attaches to the earth. And it's difficult to outthink the needs of the body. But sometimes we do. Do you stay up late at night when you think, oh man, I got to get up early tomorrow and I just really need to go to sleep? Your mind knows what it needs. But sometimes we don't listen to it. So it's not feeling guilty about things from the past and making those changes so that you're able to move forward. Protecting your energy, not standing in judgment like we were talking about with the feminine energy. Otherwise, you're going to be exhausted. Your vibration is going to be low. You're going to feel overwhelmed. Have you ever just thought, and I said this to my husband, not often, but occasionally, I'm just really tired. I don't know why like, I don't feel like I need to go to sleep, but my whole body just feels tired. And then when I start to think of all the things that I've done that day, well, no wonder it's tired. Good God, maybe I forgot to eat, protein, or maybe I needed something and I was ignoring my body. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, it's checking in with your body. What does your body need? You know your body and your energy better than anybody else. What do you need? It's validating. Yes, I'm struggling. What am I struggling with? I'm struggling with the value of myself. Why am I struggling with that? Struggling with that because I don't always trust the actions, the opinions that I have, because I'm told my opinions don't matter. And I've found that I make mistakes when I don't consult others. And when I make rash decisions, it's usually first thing in the morning. So whoever told you that you weren't worthy, whoever told you and made you do that thought process, it's time to overthink that and put yourself back in charge. So I want you to think about the cards as a whole, as a collective. We looked at them individually. So collectively, let's look at the message of what your guides are telling us, what they're advising me to put onto you. They're advising you to protect your energy. Number one, they're advising you to balance your feminine energy, to make friends with yourself, to find worth in yourself. And even if you are struggling, knowing there's obvious things that you can do to change the course of action and start to unfold this struggle. So, there was something I was thinking about saying. So, there it is. So, what you think about within yourself radiates outwardly. And I want you to think about how your thought process works. Where do you go in your thoughts when you have a big project to complete? When you don't make a deadline? When you feel like someone is upset with you? Where does your thought process go? Do you struggle with your worth? Do you have a problem with trusting your own opinion because your worth is not there? Are you honoring your energy? And honoring your energy can also be not taking a phone call from someone who you're just not in the mood for that person. Sometimes friends, family, co-workers can get into your psyche and you don't know why they annoy you. They just are. It's time to disconnect that voice in the head that's telling you there's no resolution. I'm defeated. I can't do this anymore. And say, you know what? I'm going to put my Superman cape on. I'm going to find the resolution. I'm going to disconnect from that voice. I'm going to go to the heart of that voice. So for any of you who have ever been in a toxic relationship or had a rough childhood, a very strict parent, or an overly, what's the opposite of strict? It's just a parent that just kind of just left you do whatever. We all look back on our childhood and say, well, they really screwed me up because of this, or they really did this. They left me get away with too much. I've always said that the biggest problem that my parents did was they trusted me too much. I had a very good sister who never got into any trouble. I was a little bit rebellious. But there were also ways and phrases that were said to me and things that were said to me that I think to myself, I would never say that to my kids. I would never, ever, ever say that to my kids. But the highlight is when I say to myself, I'm not going to have childhood issues because ultimately my childhood was not bad, but there were things that kind of scarred me, which we all have those. So you can either hang on to those scars as an adult and struggle of what your worth is because of that, or you can break free from it. So you kind of have a choice with that. And I just want you to just take a step back and just think about some of the choices that you've made. May not have been the best choices in the world, but you're not there anymore. You survived it. The other way that we look at the cards is if you are struggling or have struggled with abundance financially. Okay? Financial abundance. Did you bring in the feminine energy to trust a situation. Maybe the market went bad or something like that, and you put your trust into someone else. Okay, so now did you learn the lesson and did you pivot? Did you make a shift? Are you honoring your energy? Are you saying, you know what, this financial advisor just isn't for me anymore? They've led me down too many wrong turns, and I have learned from that, but I'm not going to stay stuck in it. And that is what your guides, what your angels want to say. First of all, you're not alone. We know you're struggling. Talk to us. Ask us for guidance. Go heart-centered. Come to the heart. Allow yourself to find that joy within and go there. Ask. Say, I'm not going to struggle anymore. Instead of saying, I always struggle. I always have a problem. So when you are struggling with the path that you're on and you feel like you are lost in others with tasks, slow down. Take a step back. Rest. Refocus. Realign. And then start again. It's never the end of the struggle because there's always something, but look at it more as maybe it's an adventure. It's a learning lesson. And I know blah, 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 learning lesson. But when you change the way you think, your perspective changes. If nothing else, I have learned so many lessons from so many wrong turns that I made, but I'm thankful for it because it's gotten me right here where I am. And it's this exact point in time. And you have to ask for guidance. And if there is someone that you trust, an advisor, a professional, ask them. Seek out this knowledge, this help from them. There's a continuous loop sometimes in our struggles. Do you want to stop the continuous loop and say, whoop, 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 I need to find myself again. I need to take a step back and then continue. When you get lost, when you're driving, do you continue to drive the exact same way? No, because you're still lost. When you're in a forest, I'm married to a Boy Scout. When you're in a forest, when you're going for a hike, and you feel like you're lost, you look up at the sky because all the trees can kind of close around you. You look to see where the sun's at in the direction that you want to go in. It's the same thing with life. We all have struggles. It's how much you want to work in getting out of that struggle that is the important part. Getting your power back to get to your outermost beauty and heal those wounds and protect your energy. Seeing your worth, seeing the blessings, and nurture yourself. I mean, does this make sense? It made a lot of sense to me. And when it talks about this is a shaman healing deck, you're going deep within yourself to find out where the off switch was. What happened? What turned that switch? What got you to the point of going, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. And just in using angel cards, oracle cards, you can have this unbelievable awakening that you're going, oh my God, I can't believe it. Yeah, everybody struggles. What am I struggling with though? That's where you need to get to the heart of the matter. What am I struggling with? And when you come to that point in the road where you say, here it is, then you can go, okay, here we go. So I just want you to be open to the possibilities that your angels and your guides are around, that they're talking to you, or you may not audibly hear them, but they are pointing the way for you to go in different directions. But they want you to find your worth, protect your energy, and ask for guidance. So when we get back, I want to talk to you about a vision that I had that kind of pulls all this together. And if you're on my social media, I talked about it this morning on Tuesday Talks at 10:30. But I just want to just kind of briefly go into an aha moment that I had that shows me what this is as well. So we're going to be back after this break, and we're going to talk more about what my vision was. Sorry about the stumbling, guys. Hang with me.
Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays 10 a.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network, and tune in radio as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Hey, welcome back. Connecting to Spirit with Stacey. I'm your connection to the spirit realm during this hour. We are live broadcasting on Bold Brave Media, streaming on YouTube. If you have just joined, welcome. We've been talking about angel and oracle cards and a pool that I did that talks about struggles and abundance and feminine energy and protecting your energy. And when I was talking about this, a couple weeks ago, I had a massage. And when I have massages, I always put the intention that I want to be able to meditate during it so that I can receive a message from my guides. And I know that may sound a little woo-woo, but it had been a while since I had a massage. I usually do it monthly. And I was like, I just really need to get something that is empowering. So I've been struggling with some things lately, whether it's work related or project related. It just seems like I can never I've got all these projects that need to get done and I have to focus on them. So when I first started and I was meditating, I instantly saw all these colors, oranges and red, and I know that my chakras were lining up. So I'm seeing all these colors and I am noticing all these faces coming into view. And then all of a sudden, one face was very predominant in front of me. And it was an Aborigines man. And I knew him to be a new guide. So someone who I had not worked with in the past in my, I don't know, in my woo-woo work, in my meditations. And when he came forward, there were two elephants. And he suggested, or he motioned me to board one of the pachyderms. And I was like, where are we going? And he didn't say anything. I'm like, why the elephants? And he didn't say anything. And I'm like, well, what's your name? And he told me his name was Jacob. And I thought, Jacob? That's unusual name, for a guide. And he turned around and went, silence. So I thought, okay. So I I climbed aboard this elephant, and he was on an elephant in front of me. And we were on this blanket, this woven blanket. And as we're traveling, I mean, I can smell different things, and I'm in the jungle, and everything just seems like it's the first time I've ever noticed certain things. And we're traveling in silence. And I feel like the reason we're traveling in silence is because it's bringing to my attention I've been so busy doing that I haven't taken time in being. So it was just that kind of that wake up call to me that I needed to pay attention to my surroundings. Now, when you think about, there are several meanings behind the symbols that were brought to me. This was an Aborigines guide. How do I say that? So the meaning behind that, and the fact that there was an elephant with this, he being Aborigines symbolizes the connection to the animals and the earth and the plants and the things that are around you that sometimes I'm not as focused on. It also is a connection of a guiding significance to your family, your ancestors, your tribe, your clan, however you want to look at it. But it is the people who lived before us and those who will live after us. So it's that ancestral connection. There's a responsibility in community that maybe I'm missing. Okay. And there's different things I've been struggling with. So I thought that it was interesting that there's this connection. Everything is connected, whether it's the land, people, the earth, and there's a belonging to the collectiveness that maybe I was missing with my innermost feelings, the struggle. All right. So we're on two separate elephants. The elephants are considered like this cosmic creature, that it carries the weight of the world. It carries you from one place to another. It provides a path for you. The elephant also represents wisdom and memory. I already said about the removing the obstacles. Also family, because the elephants, they stay with one herd for life. So it goes back to this, my ancestors, those before me, those that are after me, and how do I fit in all of that? So as we're going, we come to like an abrupt stop, and we're at this cliff. And telepathically, I guess is the best way to say it, I felt as if I needed to get down. And I heard him say that we were at the cliff of many stones. I had never heard of that. But all of a sudden, pebbles and stones, and there was a crack, and these things started falling away from me. Things that I have been struggling with, things that I put walls up and protect myself, my vulnerability. And when when Jacob was near me and all these stones were falling off, like there were lights that were coming from his fingers that surrounded me in this warmth and protective light, letting me know it was okay to get rid of my things from my past. They didn't need to be stuck from within me. And I could just hear them falling away. And as they fell away, I felt lifted. So when I reflected, and when you look at the cliff, right, it's that meaning is that there's this risky, vulnerable situation that you are coming up upon. It's going to be a tough ride, but there's victory on the other side. Intuitively, I felt like there were many things that I needed to learn and many things that I needed to let go of. So that's kind of where I was at during this. And then he instructed me I needed to go to the waterfall. And he disappeared. And I was saying, I don't know where the waterfall is. I don't know where to go. Where's this waterfall? And telepathically, he was like, you know where to go. You need to do this yourself. So I'm trying to find this waterfall, and I feel like I'm turning in circles and I'm kind of freaking out. And placed in front of me was this condor, this beautiful swirling condor around me. And I've been attracted to thunderbirds and phoenix for years and years and years. And the thunderbird is just that powerful sight that leads you where you need to go. So instead of me focusing on the fear that was around me of being lost, not knowing where I was going, my worth was, right? I allow myself to focus on the condor, follow the condor, and I started to like smell the water and hear the water. And all of a sudden, I'm in front of this waterfall. And I got to tell you, it was not at all what I thought it was going to be. I was figuring like a Niagara Falls type thing. But it was this gentle waterfall that was coming down, but there was water that was also spritzing up as well. And there was cobblestones going across. And I felt as though I needed to go from one side to the other. And even the condor was flying back and forth, almost saying, come on, Stacey, let's go. Let's go. What are you waiting on? Well, my feminine energy didn't trust me, myself enough to think that I could cross this water, cross these pebbles without falling into the water, because I felt it very important not to fall into the water. And I finally thought to myself, you know what? I need to cross to the other side. So step by step, I'm crossing the cobblestones. The water is washing over me, and I felt this sense of renewal. I felt as if I was being placed in a situation that said to me, you're not alone. You can do this. You just need to trust yourself. And in doing this, the condor showed me that I wasn't alone, that my guides were around. And I want to kind of talk about the rest of that when we get back. I'm not sure how much I can totally get into about this, but we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to talk to you about what my final thoughts were. So hurry back.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network, and tune in radio as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com.
Welcome back, Evidential Medium, Stacey Niedentohl, your connection to spirit. You know, the whole message that I've been talking about is about your own energy and symbolism that's around you, whether it's from angel cards or healing cards or having your own awakening through your meditations. And I was telling you about a vision that I had had a couple weeks ago. And when I think about the symbolism of the waterfall is that producing a cleansing and getting rid of, releasing the negative thoughts that pulsate through my mind. Well, remember I was talking about the cliff of stones? Like, I was getting rid of all of that, but now it was being cleansed. And when you think about a waterfall as well, it's energy. So my energy was elevating and rising. I felt like there was a unity with my guides and with my angels. And I felt like, you know what? I'm not alone. Also a waterfall. And this was the one that was like, oh my gosh. A waterfall is a reminder of God's faithfulness and protection. It absorbs the prayers and it gives you good medicine and rebirth. It's that harness of the water and the energy within. Remember when I told you I was going into this meditation, I wanted to have some type of empowering message. The condor is associated with the upper world, with the upper realm, with feminine energy. Remember the cards we were talking about? Feminine energy. This is no coincidence. Like when I had this meditation, when I did this massage and this vision came, and when I wrote about this, probably 3 or 4 days ago, because I wanted to ponder the whole thing in my head. And then yesterday, while I was getting ready for a reading, I thought, you know what, I'm going to pull some cards and that's what I'm going to talk about on the podcast. Is it not like a big knock on the head for me or a knock on my door saying you were struggling with your own worth, with your own feminine energy and your own energy? And I love that it brought it together so much, and know that I'm being guided. So as the message as a whole for both sides of whether it is the vision and meditation, the cards that I pulled, the universe is saying to me, saying to you, you're not alone. We all struggle. It's okay to struggle. Rise above it. Look for other alternatives. Silence. When my guide turned around to me and I was kind of like giddy with, oh, of course I have a guide that's named Jacob, and he was silence. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, I'll be silent. But in the silence is when I notice things that I have been too busy to notice. And let me just repeat that. In the silence, I notice things that lately I've been too busy to notice. So I was able to find the waterfall because of the condor, but I was also able to find, which is, I know it sounds like I'm going around in circles. I was able to find the condor because I stood in silence for a moment and I looked up and thought, intuitively, I know what I need to do here. So my energy is being cleansed. Your energy is being cleansed. God hears your prayers. Your angels and your guides know what you need. And in time, you will know what that is as well. But if you are struggling with your own worth and you are missing the good things about yourself, it's almost like blocking out the spirit realm to help guide you in the direction that you need to go in. So here's what I suggest. Get quiet. Do what my guide Jacob said. Silence. Think about the struggle. Why am I struggling? What started this struggle? Has this struggle made me question my own worth? When I was in this visualization in the jungle at the cliff of stones, and all of a sudden my guide left and said, "Find the waterfall," I was like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I need to do. The voice in my head was saying, "You can do this. Look for the signs." Okay? What are the signs of my own worth? Knowing that I trust that I am guided to do what I need to do. Bringing in the feminine energy is trusting self. Have you made mistakes? Yep. Will you make them again? Yep. But you have to trust where you're going, and you have to protect your own energy. The waterfall was bringing that energy back to me. So if you feel overly exhausted, worn out, you're talking to somebody and they just totally wear you out, take a step back. Go take a shower. Wash off the energy from the day. Ask for guidance. Maybe I'm struggling. I need help not to struggle. Help me to untie this knot that I'm in. Show me a way that I can figure this out. Put people in my path that can help me. Create solutions that I can see. And I'm telling you, your guides, your angels, God, your loved ones on the other side will make these things happen for you. But if you're too busy doing and not spending enough time being in silence, you may miss it. So, I just want to emphasize to you that God hears your prayers. Your loved ones hear you talking. And it's okay not to figure it all out right now. One day at a time, one moment at a time. The worries of the world are not all yours. They're not all mine. We are all on a journey. And if you're struggling, take a step back. We're all on this journey together to live the life we love and love the life we live and change it and shift it until our energy comes back or we get a better view of what we need. But I feel very good about this message that I've sent, and I'm curious if it resonates with you. Shoot me an email at connectingtospiritwithstacey@gmail. If you want to watch the full episode of me talking about the vision, you can go to my social media. Again, that's Connecting to Spirit with Stacey. But I've enjoyed this hour with you. It always goes by so quickly. I will see you next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You are on Bold Brave Media, YouTube, iHeart, all the big streaming platforms. Check us out. Like, share, subscribe. But you know what? Meet me back here next Tuesday at 8. And I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we're going to have a fun time. All right. I'll see you next week. Peace out.
This has been Connecting to Spirit with Stacey. Tune in each week as Stacey delves into the journey of life, healing, and spiritual connection, inviting listeners to open their hearts, clear their minds, and create the life they love. Right here, Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network, powered by B2 Studios.